Hello, everyone. As you can see, I am at a waterfall today. I'm actually deep in the woods today, far deeper than I've ever been. And it can actually be quite scary because I don't have any signal, and people know where I am, but I still worry about potential predators and such. But it was worth it to hike to this spot today so I could see the waterfall because I'm very lucky that we have such natural wonders on our property, but it's rare that I explore them because they're so deep in the woods. But I decided to go today because it rained a lot yesterday, so usually the day after a rain, the waterfalls can really be spectacular. But that's not really the subject of today's video. What I really wanted to talk about is, are my books difficult? Are the books that I write difficult? And it really depends on what you mean. Depending on what someone has exposed to, they can find various things difficult. For example, if someone has only read young adult fiction, they may find regular adult fiction difficult. And I would say there's around 6 categories of difficult in my mind when it comes to literature. And my latest work would probably be around a 5 in terms of difficulty out of 6. And some of my earlier work may be more at a 4. Category 1, I guess, would be fiction for children. Category 2 may be middle grade fiction. Category 3 would be young adult fiction. Category 4 would be just regular adult fiction. Category 5, I would say, would be what you might call literary fiction, where it's fiction that's written in a more complex literary style and a poetic style, which I don't really like the term literary fiction in general, though, because you can have a plot that is more genre or commercial, but it can be written in a literary way. And so to me, I don't really like that distinction, because you can have both. But I don't think that my kind of fiction is the most difficult kind of fiction one can read. To me, that belongs more into like the avant-garde fiction that tries to break the rules of the novel. So Ulysses might fit into that category, or Gravity's Rainbow, perhaps, where the point is, again, to break the rules of the novel, to be so unconventional that the narrative is not linear. Sometimes novels like this will include things like stream of consciousness, where the person that is written in first-person point of view, where a person thinks not as a narrator, but they think how a person may actually think. So very disjointed thoughts and such, like blah 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 blah, cookies, and to me, that kind of avant-garde literature, that is the most difficult kind of literature. It's not literary fiction, it's avant-garde literature. And so I would say that my fiction is difficult, but I wouldn't say it's the most difficult kind of fiction that one can read. And yes, my writing does play around somewhat with narrative and conventions. And so I guess you could say there are elements that are avant-garde, but they're still very much within a traditional narrative structure for the most part. A true avant-garde novel, you're going to see that throughout. You're not just going to see little experiments with it. And to me, that's not the kind of fiction that I write at this point. I may in the future sometime, but what I write now is what you might call traditional literary fiction.